My name is Brandon Blevins. I'm with the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, and we're excited to bring to you part of our Mid-Atlantic Southeast Regional Wind Energy Institute webinar series, a webinar on wind energy integration issues and then some answers. We're very glad to have Michael Milligan of the National Renewable Energy Laboratory here. As a brief background, Michael Milligan is part of the Electric Systems Integration team at the National Renewable Energy Lab, where he's worked on wind energy integration issues since 1992. Recent work has quantified the ramping reduction made possible by pooling balance and area requirements and market features that can help provide access to flexible generation. He has also authored and co-authored more than 90 papers and book chapters and has served on numerous technical review committees for wind integration studies around the U.S. Michael is a member of the National Energy Regulatory Commission's Variable Generation Task Force. He's part of WECC's Variable Generation Subcommittee. He has a master's and doctorate from the University of Colorado. And with that, Michael, we're very glad to have you.
Great. Thank you very much, Brandon. So what I'd like to do, thank you all for joining us. I'd like to kind of run through some what I'm calling FAQs, frequently asked questions about wind energy. And there's no quiz at the end, but hopefully I'll be able to address the answers in a reasonably good way. So next slide, please. The 10 questions, and I'll kind of run through them quickly here. How much wind is currently installed in the United States? We'll talk a little bit about the benefits that wind energy brings to the power system. And starting with number 3 here, things get a little more interesting. How can the variability of a wind power plant or multiple wind power plants be incorporated into systems operation on the grid? Number 4, does wind plant output start and stop suddenly? We'll talk a little bit about whether wind can be predicted and the extent it can be predicted. Can you operate the power system reliably? I'm sorry, next slide. Can you operate the power system reliably with wind energy? Number 7, do we need backup or storage to operate the system with wind? Number 8, is there a limit to how much wind can be accommodated on the grid? Probably the question I'm asked more than probably any other single question is number 8. Can you control the output of a wind power plant? And then finally, can wind energy make effective use of transmission lines? And if we have time, I'll talk a little bit about the issue of, how can we get more wind on the grid, not really defining exactly what more wind means, but basically we'll see some things that can help with wind integration. So going on to the next slide, the answers that I'm going to give you come from lots of different analyses around the country, around the world even. There have been many power system simulations that do a pretty good job of mimicking the real-time operations of a power system, typically with time steps ranging anywhere from 10 minutes up to an hour at a time. And many of these studies have gone for at least 1 year of simulation, if not more than that. There's been an extensive amount of statistical analysis of wind and load data to see what the impact of variability is. And there's been a growing body of actual operating experience, not only in the U.S., but around the world. And as wind energy has actually been developed and operated, operators learn more about how to manage the wind. There's a recent International Energy Agency report came out late last fall that talks about wind integration around the world. Some of the things that I'll touch on here are also touched on in that report. The Utility Wind Integration Group, uig.org, has probably the largest single collection of wind integration reports and information of probably any website, certainly that I'm aware of. So if you have further questions that I'm not able to address on today's call, I really encourage you to go to uig.org, take a look at the Wind Integration Library, and you'll find probably more than you actually want on that website. We also do a lot of work on systems integration here at the lab, and I've got a couple of links here in case you need a cure for insomnia. After all of this other stuff, we have a number of publications, and you can take a look at some of the issues that our team works on. Next slide.